Welcome to Creativation 2025, a trade show conference for the fine art and craft industry. In this video, we're going to look at over 40 companies to see what is new and what is coming out this year, including Posca, Faber Castell, Zebra, Pentel, Sakura, Staedtler, Marvy Uchida. The list goes on, and I'm going to show you the coolest things they found. If there's a question about if it's out now or if it's coming out later, let me know and I will get you that answer. Let's go on to the trade show floor. This year it was held in beautiful Seattle. It's amazing the transformation that goes on in just a couple days. And these letters here are letters that we made last year, the creative professionals, and mine is this A right here. I made it with Posca Mopper markers and also some other Posca sizes. First up, we have the Posca booth. Posca is one of my favorite markers. They are the gold standard tube paint markers. You can mark on over 50 surfaces with them. They have lots of sizes and brush tips. They have never dried out for me. They are just a good all-around marker. And this year, I have announcement that they have two new colors, grape green and forest green, and those are coming out later this year. Also new this year is they have a new brush pen. Posca has made a brush marker before, but this is the first one that's made out of the same material as their other markers. You activate it the same way that you would activate a regular marker. So you push it down, you shake it, and eventually the ink will flow to the tip. And now the ink is coming out and you can use it like you would a regular Posca marker. We're going to have it demonstrated right here by drawing a little bit of a flower, but look at how pretty that ink is. It's in the standard colors and you can get some really pretty different effects with this tip. And you can fill in surfaces, which I think is going to be awesome because a brush marker is amazing for filling in surfaces. So right now you can get those fine lines with the tip. She's doing that right now. And then after you do those fine lines, you can fill it in and it's super easy. I love brush markers for that reason because they are so easy to use. What a beautiful creation. You could use this in so many different ways. I am super excited for this. It comes in 16 different colors as seen right here. So the packaging is in 8 or 16. Here is the packaging for the 16 brush markers. I cannot wait to get my hands on them. And here are some of the things that they had drawn for the show that they did with these brush markers. There's so many cool effects that you can do. Next up is some of the things that you can write on. So we have some shoes, a glass jar, the Mopper markers, which I love, the 5M markers, and then we have these sets that are color coordinated, and that green set is the one with the new colors. You'll want to pick that up if you want the new Posca colors. This booth was one of my favorites and I am so glad I got to see it first. Next up is Faber Castell, another favorite company, and I feel like this booth needs to win an award because I just wanted to hang out in their booth all day and have my studio decorated with those pillows and those chairs because they are like super cute. I love this, creativity in your hands. They're really emphasizing being creative here. And next we have the Black Edition. I have reviewed these on the channel. These acrylic markers are new this year. We're seeing a lot of acrylic markers from a lot of different companies, and I will be reviewing those as soon as I can get all of the markers. I think they're out now. And then we have a Black Edition roll, a pencil roll. So I've also reviewed those 100 color pencils. So a lot of these, you can see some of the reviews on my channel for. I like the Black Edition, don't get me wrong, but I feel like my favorite line of theirs is their professional line, except for especially the watercolor series. Next, we have the highlighters, and these come in packs or they come in like a larger box. I'll probably pick up the larger box later this year. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but Write Your Own Future, they have this line that's all over their pens and pencils, and I think it's super cute, coming out later this year, or it might already be out. This is their Gelatos redesigned packaging. I can't wait to try this. Pencil sharpener looks amazing. We have the gold Faber aqua markers and also the pencils. I want to also try these and get a set. Those will probably come later this year if I review them, but I have used them before and they're really cool. And then we have these pop-up flowers. I did get one of them and I will be doing a review on the channel. I think that would look really cute in like a room just as decoration. And then we have my favorite sets. These are the gold Faber green sets. I can't remember exactly. We have a new eraser here. But these are your high quality supplies. They'll last forever. These are the artist pens. I have a review on those already. I want to try these big ones right here. They're super juicy. They're like one of my favorite watercolor markers. So much pigment in the marker. And then we have this LED light, which I've seen from Crayola before, but I've never seen from Faber Castell. And then they have some pens here, and they didn't have a ton of it, but they also have a kids series, which is, it could fill the whole wall too. Next up, we have Sharpie, and they are really pushing their new acrylic marker. So right now they have the brush and the bullet tip, and the bullet tip has this earth tone series that you see on the left, and those will be coming out in the brush series later this year. And then they also have S-Gel. Prismacolor is getting a makeover this next couple years, so watch out for that. I can't say anything more. And then we have the Ink Gel Joy and the Papermate Flare pens, and there's some new colors coming out this year. I got some of those, so I will review that on my channel. Next up is Carand'ache, and I really love Carand'ache. I have two Carand'ache products, the crayons and the luminous pencils, that I need to review on my channel, and I will do that in the next couple months because I bought them and I want to share them with you because they have some really amazing products. And there are a couple of surprises coming later this year, so watch out because it'll be around the June-ish time, and it's really exciting for me. I was very excited to see these at Creativation. These are the Museum Aquarelle, and then we have the Neocolor Aquarelle, so that's the one that I have that I can't wait. And then Pablo is one of their pencils, and then we have the Neocolor one, which I would also love to try, and Gouache Studio. These are little kits that they have, and then they have some pads of paper, and then they also have a bunch of pens that are really cute, really high quality pens that you can get. And I think some of these are new colors, but don't quote me on this because I'm not a super pen expert. Like, I like using a good pen and colorful, but I'm not like hip on all the colors of the Carand'ache pens. I should become more aware of them, and maybe that's one of those things where I'll be like, okay, let's do a review on ballpoint pens, and I can put all of the pens in there. And here are some of the other items that they have, and some more beautiful colors of pens that they have. Aren't those just fun? Aren't those fun to just have like in your bag and pull it out? Sarah is a local artist from Seattle, and she demonstrated the new Neo Art Carand'ache pastels. They come in 48 colors, and she did an amazing job. I strive to be like her. I want to make some beautiful artwork with this. And she does some work with a palette knife, which I was amazed about. Like, you can scrape off some of the crayon, and then you can use it also to make sharp edges. So she's going to demonstrate here how to make sharp edges with the crayons, the Carand'ache Neo colors. And look at that. So she put it down and you get this beautiful edge. She uses this Gamsol that she can also use as like a blender. So I definitely learned this tip. I'm going to pick some up. Next up is Olo, and Lori is going to walk us through the booth.
Hi, welcome to the Olo booth. We're here at Creativation NAMTA in Seattle, and it's the third day of our show. Everybody's finishing up, and Jenny stopped by, and I wanted to share a few of our new things that we have with you. So let's take you on a little tour. Jenny shares Olo with you quite a lot. She does a color selection each month to see what comes, and she asked what was new in our booth, and so one of the things that we're excited to share is our Olo Premium Marker Blending Card. As you color lovers know, the surface is almost equally important to the medium that you're using, and so that's going to change when you pick up a different pen or pencil or pastel or paint. And so we love this new Premium Blending Card. It's a super smooth cardstock. It's 100 pounds, so it's got a little bit of weight to it. It takes stamps and illustration beautifully, and then it does beautiful blending with your alcohol markers. So we're super excited. That is available and shipping now. And then just because Jenny's here, I'm going to give you a little treat. It's a prototype of our Olo marker, and since we launched Olo, one of the things that people ask us for over and over again is a bullet nib, and so I just wanted to show you what we are working on. This is the Olo bullet, and so it's going to allow you to get into super tight spaces with just the right amount of color, and then it'll work beautifully with your other brush and chisel markers to do some blending. And I think that people are going to love that. That will be coming out later this year. The other thing that we've introduced at this show are Olo sets. People are often asked us, what's the easiest way for me to get started? I want something that's grab and go. And so we have a brand new collection of Olo 8 color sets available in brush and chisel. There's 15 different color combinations. These are fantastic. Once you open up the box, you're going to get 8 colors that are designed to go together. In most of the collections, you have 1 to 2 natural blending pairs, and then you have a couple of complementary colors, and they've got great themes. This one's landscape, manga 2. We have botanical, comic, primary, grays. You'll notice between these sets that we have got black boxes and we have dark gray boxes, and that mimics the same orientation that we share with you in our markers. This is an Olo brush marker, and it has a beautiful matte black barrel. So the black box sets are brush markers. This is the Olo chisel, and it's a dark matte gray, and so it's got that beautiful chisel nib. And so the gray boxes are going to be chisel options. So even in our sets, Olo continues to be your marker, your way. All right, so here we are in the Olo wall, and we've got our beautiful display. Each one of these towers holds 128 fantastic colors. And so one of the surprises that we have for you is that later this year, probably late summer, we'll be introducing 96 new colors. So when you go to your favorite store and pick out Olo, you'll be looking at 2 gorgeous towers with 256 fabulous colors. Jenny's no stranger to our booth, and we've met her at a lot of different shows and love working with her. And we have another product line that we offer and is very popular for us, and that's the Carand'ache marker out of Europe. Carand'ache is a fantastic partner, and they create very beautiful coloring instruments. This is the Brush Marker Pro. This is a liquid ink technology inside, and it's got a beautiful Japanese nib. So a lot of similarities to Olo, except it's watercolor. It's a beautiful, vibrant color, comes in 72 shades, reacts beautifully with the blender pen, or you can use it with a simple water brush or just a paintbrush and water in a traditional method. Love this particular product and the company that makes these. So they have watercolor in the felt nib brush, and then they also have the Real Brush Pro line. So this is the same medium, the same watercolor, but it has a real bristle brush that allows you to get into super tight places. On watercolor paper, this is super fluid, it blends out beautifully. The next style of marker in the Carand'ache line is the Deco Brush Pigment Pen, and this is going to be awesome for those of you who like to work on canvas. The Deco Brush is an acrylic pigment in a pen, and it has, again, we love the flexibility of the brush nib because it allows you to get nice wide swaths of color, but you can also use that point to get into tight spaces. So this particular pigment marker is awesome on canvas, paper, non-porous surfaces, rocks, leather, glass, shoes, bags. Just really, really fun product. And true to their style, you can get that flexible brush nib, or you can get the real bristle brush to get even tighter confines in your artwork. Getting close to the end of the line here for Carand'ache, but we've kind of saved one of my favorites for last. This is the Deco Gel. Carand'ache makes the Deco Gel pen in 3 different styles. They have a translucent shimmery, which they call Star Sparks, a traditional milky pen, which is the Milky Way, and then a opaque metallic in 20 different shades. So these pens look beautiful on white or on dark surfaces. And the thing that is fantastic about the Deco Gel is that it writes just a beautiful smooth color, and when you take the cap off, you get nice color without skipping. And I love that. You can vary the line weight depending upon the pressure that you are putting on the pen. Super fun. They're available in singles or in really pretty packages of 10 and 20. And then finally we have the Carand'ache Deco Brush Metallic. This is a fantastic paint marker. It's an opaque pigment, but it has beautiful luster to the colors. We have 2 new colors at this show. Again, you can get it in that super brush nib, or you can get it in the real brush bristle. Here are the two new colors of the metallic Deco brush. This is a metallic violet red. Look at that luster. And then we have a metallic dark red. So really nice that you can get a really thin line with that, or a wide swath.
I am so excited for the new Olo colors and the bullet tip, and there's something else that I'm excited for. You'll have to wait until June. But here's some of the beautiful artwork, and it shows the colors that were used. You don't need to have a ton of colors, you just have to have the imagination. And here are some of the manga sets that you can get. And then this is some of the Korean box marker sets. So I have the water brush and the Deco. The water brush are my favorite. I don't have the real like brush yet. I have a few of them, but not a ton. But these are beautiful markers. I love using the real brush. And they're some of my favorites. And then here's all the boxes that you can get, the individual ones, and then the gel pens, which I have some of them, but I need to get the rest.
Hi, welcome to the Holbein booth. My name is Matt Hopper. We're going to talk about some of the great products that we offer. First, we're going to focus on some of our brand new watercolor sets. These are sets of colors that are new to Holbein. Here we have our Chroma Shine line. This is 16 new colors of pearlescent and interference colors. As you can see here, you have some nice transparent but colored iridescent colors. And here we have the interference Chroma Shine colors. Interference means that depending on the angle that you look at, the color is actually going to look a little bit different. Some of the other sets that we have, these are really exciting. These are our granulating watercolor sets, highly anticipated. There's 24 colors. You can get the single set with all 24 colors, or you can get one each of these 6 color sets. The 4 of them are broken down into flower themes, moon themes, landscape themes, and bird themes. Here are some of the colors and how amazing they look. Look at how granulated and the variation of color in that one tube color. So these are representative of what a tube color looks like coming out of the tube. Can you imagine this, that pink and orange color? That's a single tube color. Next up, we have our luminous watercolors. This is 12 new watercolors available in 5 ml size and 15 ml size. So the 2 sets are available here, depending on if you like a larger format tube or a smaller format tube. These 12 incredible luminous colors, let's see if they show up on black light. Here is a black light flashlight that we use. Here is a swatch of each one of those colors. Let's see if it picks up any of the glow. Look at that. They really shine under black light quite brightly. We call this a tint set. It's a 5 color set. These are existing colors within our watercolor range already, but in this nice little compact set. And here are the distinct colors that you see from there. So here's our full watercolor range. This is the 15 ml selection. They're again smaller 5 ml tubes, but this is the 15 ml tube selection. So this is the full 108 colors that fits in the display. And each one of these, if you see it in a retail store and wonder what the color is, this is the actual color chip here. So this is a hand-painted little chip charts on every single one of these that you can identify what the actual tube color looks like. Holbein watercolor is unique that we don't use any oxgall in the production, which means that you have greater control over pigment dispersion, which means that if you have a brush stroke and you are familiar with it blooming out, Holbeins will bloom out, but only to a certain point. We have mediums that you can use to augment these different characteristics of color, but what's great about and unique about Holbein watercolor is that you really have great control over your individual brush strokes. Up next, we have our traditional our traditional artist gouache. This is a gum Arabic base, just like watercolor is. Here's our full selection of colors. What started as 89 colors in this selection, we recently added another 48 here, called the Traditional Colors of Japan Iridori Gouache. Functionally, there's no difference between the Iridori and the traditional artist gouache. They're going to feel and handle the same way. The difference is the color palette. Holbein Japan worked with a camera company to reproduce colors used in ancient 15th century Japanese artwork and come up with a color palette that you see here. Up next is our acrylic gouache. This is designed to handle, feel, and mix just like a traditional gouache, but be more permanent once dry. So if you think of an acrylic, Once it's dry, you can't remove it. You can't chip it, you can't scrub at it with a brush. Once it's there, you have to cut it off. Acrylic gouache can reconstitute a little bit, just like gouache or watercolor. If you come back in with a wet brush, you can scrub at and lift up some of the color. Acrylic gouache, we say, is water resistant because you can scrub at some of that color, but for the most part, once it's dry, it's pretty much there. I always use a reference of using your brush washer and splashing a little water on your watercolor or gouache. You're gonna leave a little freckle mark there because that water is gonna activate some of that color. If that same drop of water lands on artwork done in the acrylic gouache, you can simply wipe it away with a paper towel without leaving a residual freckle or pock mark. So over here, we're gonna be looking at our heavy body acrylic range. This, like every other heavy body acrylic, you can expect a similar experience. Ours is fantastic in that it is very light in body, so you can create a lot of great high peaks and textures. We have a slightly longer working time, so if you are an artist who likes to work on plein air, the Artist acrylic from Holbein is actually a nice choice because it has a slightly longer workable time, which is ideal if you're working outside. There's a whole range of colors. What's really great is that each one of these tubes is painted with a color swatch on the outside. So here again, if you're wondering what the tube color looks like, you can just look at the outside and know exactly what that tube color is. There's also a whole number of sets from 12 colors to the 6 color sets, including the luminous, the 5 color primary sets, and a basic set too. Okay, so this is our colored pencil line. Here at the show, we sell our displays, and we've already started putting it together for a local retailer who's actually going to have these colored pencils in store for artists in their local area. This is 150 colors within the colored pencil range with a whole slew of different sets from 12 colors to 24, 36, 50, 100, and 150. Full set is available as well. They're really nice, kind of a creamy, silky feel. They're an oil and wax-based pencil, so they have a really nice feel whether you're working with cold press or hot press paper, whether you are a mixed media artist and use them in conjunction with watercolor or gouache or acrylic gouache. The colored pencils are a very popular product for many artists.
Next up is Zebra, and Anne-Marie is going to walk us through all their new products for the year. Here's a little bit of a sample, but they're really cool. You guys are gonna love them.
Hi, welcome to the Zebra booth. My name is Anne-Marie, and I want to take you through some of our exciting new products. So we are going to be launching 6 new colors in the Mildliner highlighter range. These are our beautiful neutral colors, the Relax palette from Japan plus Dusty Pink. These are going to be available in retailers in July of this year. So that brings the entire color range of the dual tip highlighters to 41 beautiful colors, all with the normal soft mild ink of the Mildliner brand. So we're really excited to launch those later this year. We're also going to be extending the brand to include the new dual tip dot marker. So the dot marker has the same soft translucent ink of the Mildliner brand, but now in a dot marker design. So there's the dot tip and then the bullet tip. Great for creating small and larger dots if you're doing bullet journaling, fun creative applications, fun accents, etc. There's going to be 10 colors in the dot marker and then 5 different stamps. So super cute stamps. So this one here is a heart, there's the stars, arrow, there's the star. Just super fun accents for planning and journaling that we're really excited to launch later this year. We are also creating some fun journaling sets and creative collections that include multiple products that make it quick and easy for people to do planning and journaling with these curated, beautiful palettes of our new products. One of Zebra's flagship brands in the US market is the Zebra Steel F301. A lot of you may know it as a retractable ballpoint pen. We're extending that range to include these beautiful earthy tones, value price point pen that includes a stainless steel barrel, really fashion forward. They all have black oil-based ballpoint ink that writes beautifully and smooth.
So that's new this year as well.
And you can pair them, really nicely with some of the Mildliner new neutral colors as well. really kind of allowing people to accessorize. We are here to show you the new colors in the Click Art retractable felt tip marker. So some of you guys may be familiar with Click Art already. It has the very beautiful, clean aesthetic of the Mildliner dual tip highlighter, but it is a retractable felt tip pen. That's right, no cap to lose. It also won't dry out if you leave it retracted, which is just an awesome feature, super convenient. It is now available in 48 beautiful colors. We are launching the Pastel collection, which has been available in Japan for a while. These 12 new beautiful pale pastel colors, bringing the color range to 48 colors. As you can see, they just look super awesome when they're coordinated along with the new Mildliner colors, hitting retailers in July of this year. So some of you might be familiar with Sarasa Clip, which is the #1 selling gel retractable in Japan. We are excited to be launching Sarasa R in the US market at NAMTA this year. So Sarasa R is a rich colored retractable gel, and it has a 0.5 millimeter point that allows you to write, really neat and easily, and without smearing, without smudging. And it has still that rich, vibrant color. It's got a water-based dye ink, so it's gonna be more vibrant than a pigment ink, and it's gonna dry super fast so that it doesn't smear or smudge. It also has the awesome alligator clip of Sarasa Clip that allows you to attach it to a notebook, a bag, or wherever to make it, quick and easy to go and portable.
What did you guys think of all the new things coming from Zebra? The dot markers were some of my favorite. I could see doing some really cool art with this. And here is all of some of their packaging. You can see that they have different sets. They're dual-Zs. They have lots of pens, which I love Zebra pens to use for any time you're trying to take notes. And here are all those new colors except for the dusty pink because it wasn't there in open stock. But will be coming out later this year. And Christina here made this during the show. It's an octopus that she used the dot markers and some of those new stamp markers and some of other just, random Zebra products. But look at how beautiful this is. She does a lot of the Zebra packaging. It's just super, super amazing. Next up is Sakura, and they are really welcoming and they want to say hi. I love this booth. I love their products, all their gel pens and their pens. And they also have this koi watercolor line, and I have the water brushes to review this year. They also have tubes of watercolor, and then they have some sets. Like, their pens are top notch. These pens won hands down on best felt tip pen because they are the blackest. They have the most sizes. They dry quickly, they don't really ghost, the list goes on and on. So if you want to pick up a nice set of pens, pick up the Micron from Sakura. And then they have these jelly rolls, which are super awesome. And that video, I have a video for the jelly rolls coming out soon. I've actually already filmed some of it, and I am going to be filming more of it. But here's a sampling of their jelly rolls and some of their really cool products that they have right here. And then these were the koi watercolor markers that I told you about. So they come in this big plastic set now. These are the jelly rolls that I'll be reviewing. And then I will also be reviewing some Micron pens that are coming in different colors. They have a junior artist line right here. But I will be reviewing these pens because I was able to get these from the show. And I will show you all the different colors, which I'm really excited for, to show you the Micron pens. And here's some demonstrations of the pens.
We're introducing a new sketch brush pen. It's different from our Pigma brush pen, and this has a plastic nib on it. Our other brush pen is a fiber nib. So the plastic nib enables you to do fatter lines and thinner lines. And of course it has our famous Pigma ink in it. What's unique about this pen is the colors that it comes in. As you can see, the red that she's using now is a beautiful red, very vibrant color on it. And the other colors, the yellows, the green, and the oranges are also gorgeous. They're very similar, if not exactly the same, as our regular pigment line.
And the artist that you saw at the beginning, he was the one that drew this for my daughter. I'm super excited. He is just fun, amazing, and so super friendly and happy.
Welcome to Pentel at NAMTA. I'm Jason, brand manager at Pentel. Let me show you around. So we're showing you some new point liners available in sepia, sanguine, gray, and black, as well as some new sign pen brushes in bright fluorescent colors that really, really fluoresce. We also have sign pen brush in new, what we're calling vacation colors. And then down over here we have our dual metallic brush, as well as our Milky brush pens. And these are the same inks that you find in our Sparkle Pop and Milky Pop pens, but in a brush format. And these work fantastic on both white and black paper. And it's the exact same ink. So you can see how those look different on black versus white paper. The same with the matte hops, which we've expanded the color offerings on to new ice cream colors, sort of creamy, cool colors. And these are high opacity gel pens that become more opaque as they dry on the paper. And they also will allow you to build up on top of themselves, so you can really get that deep saturation. We're doing some new journaling kits in collaboration with Carrie Walker, a very famous YouTube journaler, I guess, where she's doing themed journals on feeling grounded, on gratitude journaling, in my feels, as well as sort of an ultimate journaling kit that has a little bit of everything you need to do journaling. And then one of the most exciting things that we're showing at this show are our new system kits. So this happens to be for illustration, but we actually have 6 systems in total. We have illustration, landscape and urban sketching, calligraphy and lettering, comic and manga, and then crafts and digital integration, which is tools that actually will allow you to scan well and they don't have too many high spots. They scan in nice and flat. So our illustration starter kit is a great starting point for someone who thinks they want to get into illustration. It's a perfect stocking stuffer. And then we also have a pro version of the illustration kit that has 14 items inside. And this is for someone who really wants to deep dive into illustration. We have 3 color brushes, the entire 5 different sizes of point liner, mechanical pencil, soft eraser, Milky brush, aquash, and a Milky pen. These are available this summer, and we'll have all 6 systems in time for the holidays. We have our new soft eraser, metallic and fluorescent new colors of oil pastels. Something that's actually been very popular at this show is our click eraser for professionals. So it's a thinner eraser that allows you to really get into corners and small spaces for very precise erasing. And it's also refillable. We sell the refill for this as well. And who wouldn't be set without a giant block eraser? So there you go. That one's as big as my hand. And then a new member of the Graph Gear family is the Graph Gear 300. So everybody loves the 1000 and the 500. This is the little brother. All the same qualities of Graph Gear and the amazing super high polymer lead that Pentel sells, but in fun colored barrels. And then one of the latest new offerings we have on the traditional writing side are our new Kawaii pens. These are Energel Arrtx pens, but with fun, cute, which is what kawaii means in Japanese, designs. These are our Pixel series, and they have really fun barrel designs in black ink. And that's some of the latest stuff we're showing at the Pentel booth.
Next up is Staedtler, or Staedtler, depending on where you're coming from. They have new to the show is 60 Pigment Arts pens. So they had, like, I think it was the 36 before, and I actually am going to review the 36 soon, but now they have the 60 right here. Aren't they beautiful? So I can't wait to get my hands on those. And there is some beautiful artwork that they've done with them. The thing about the Pigment Art pens is they are a light fast marker, which you don't get a lot of. So like these markers would not be light fast that we're looking at, but these other ones are. And a lot of this artwork was done with these new Pigment Art pens. And then we also have some gel pens that they have. And then they have really awesome fine liners, and then they have some clay And then all of this artwork was done with these new pigment art pens. And look at that, they don't bleed through to the other side, so they're great. And you can use this liquid. I've already ordered it on Amazon, and you can push some of the marker away, so it won't come off of the egg, but if you put it in water, but if you put that liquid, it will come off, and it will actually stay light fast. So if the sun exposure, it'll be light fast. They're just a really amazing marker. I really think everyone should have these in their arsenal. And they also have a lot of fun clay products, the Fimo brand that Staedtler also carries. Next up is Marvy Uchida, and this was a collaborative effort led by their artist, Blake. Look at how beautiful that is. It was on display at their booth. And what they have new this year is their Le Pen Flex in retro colors. And you'll see that right here. These are the new colors. And I have not reviewed the Le Pen Flex on here, but I really want to. And I'm hoping that we can work together this year. And here are some of their other products. I'm just going to say what they had new at their booth. They have a Snowmaker Deco Color. It comes in, and then Deco Color Premium comes in gold and silver, and then they have an opaque brush. And my favorite, I don't know if I got it on here, was their jewel picker, because I do a lot of jewelry. You've seen some of the videos on that. And here are just some of the fun products, calligraphy products. They have alcohol markers, they have regular markers, they have it all. And I think they have some acrylic markers also. So I feel like, let me know what you want me to review from their company, and I will get that on my channel, because I think they have some really great products. I am sad that I have not reviewed them yet, but we will remedy that. Those were some of those new gold ones that I talked, and silver ones that I talked about. And then these are the individual, I think these are their acrylic paint pens. And look at all these pretty things that they made with all of those pens. It's just a really great booth. They have a lot of great products.
Hi, welcome to the Yasutomo booth. I'm Phoebe, and I'm going to show you guys what we have in our booth. So this is our Sumi Nagashi kit, and Sumi Nagashi means floating ink in Japanese, and it's our Japanese water marbling kit. So in the box, you get all the materials that you need to do this Japanese water marbling project. You get the packaging, which also doubles as the water tray. You get 2 brushes, an ink bottle, 2 dishes, and washi paper to pull your prints. And so the practice is really fun and meditative. What you do is you fill your basin with water, and then you'll have one little saucer filled with ink and one with water, and you'll dip your brushes into those 2 and alternately drop in Sumi ink and water to create these really cool like concentric circles, and then you could do different patterns as you go to create these really cool like Sumi Nagashi marble Japanese water prints. And then you pick up your print with hosho paper, and every print is different, and you can use them for all kinds of pretties afterward. They're good for book binding, you can make gift tags, you can use them for cards. If you make a really big one, you can even use it for gift wrap. So it's a really stunning project, and it's a little taste of Japanese culture. Over here we have our tag book kit, and it includes the materials you need to make 2 little handmade booklets or little art journals out of shipping tags, which we thought was super fun. And each kit is going to come with the surprise assortment of different origami papers. They'll all go together because they're these really fun designs created by our Yasutomo artist, Carand'ache. But you'll use the origami papers to create beautiful collage covers for your booklet, and you'll go ahead and use our needle inside to do a little simple bookbinding project, and you'll end up with a totally unique, one-of-a-kind tag book that you could fill any way you like. So that one's a super fun one. Here's an example of one and just some ideas of what you can do. I love that page of the stamp. So that's a super fun project. And all of our kits come with illustrated instructions and also a QR code to online resources to help you further, including videos. So over here we have our newest addition to our washi paper line. It's Mashi Hosho, and it means it takes 1 layer of mashi paper and 1 layer of hosho paper and fuses them together to create this double layer washi paper that feels like the Japanese version of like a Japanese cardstock. And so one side's smooth, one side's rough, and you can use it for Gansai watercolor, calligraphy, sumi ink painting, mixed media, and even run it through your printer, which is why we decided to make it 8.5 by 11 inches, so it's copy paper size. And you can print beautiful images on it, cut them out, fussy cut them for journal fodder, all kinds of fun stuff with this paper. And we also, for example, have these like bookmarks that were painted with Japanese Gansai, another new product. This is an 8-color selection with a gold and silver, so you get your 2 metallics, as well as 6 solid colors that are great because you can mix them to create any color you want, basically, and have the really fun metallic accents. I love the box that it comes in. It's so beautiful, just like that. So over here, we have these new mineral paper art boards. It's a pack of 3 boards. Our mineral paper's been around for a couple years. It's made out of calcium carbonate, so it's made from rocks, not trees, we like to say. And it takes all kinds of wet and dry mediums beautifully. But our silver point and alcohol ink artists told us that they loved using mineral paper but wanted it in a hard board form. So that's how this product was born. And we love it for all kinds of the same mediums, but especially for silver point and alcohol inks. And if you see it in the stores, just flip it on over. It has some examples of the artwork that you can make and tells you a little bit about what mineral paper is. Okay. Over here we have a new product. It's not even available yet because we're just bringing it to the NAMTA show as like a sneak peek preview. We're really excited to kind of give people a taste of what's coming next. We have our 7 liquid metallic sumi inks. To be more accurate, 6 of them are metallic and the white is matte, but we have these coming soon. We think we're going to have them ready by the end of the year, and they look gorgeous on black backgrounds. So we're also going to create black shikishi boards. They're edged in silver foil in contrast to the white shikishi boards with gold foil. So we kind of got like a night and day situation going on, and we just think they look so beautiful together. So keep your eyes out for that. And over here we have our new double-sided origami paper. We have 3 SKUs, and we love these because they're designed, the patterns on these origami paper are taken from our artist Carand'ache's own prints. She does mixed media, collage, gel print, all kinds of things to come up with these super fun patterns. And these are double-sided. So I'll just flip it over and you can get a little taste of the designs here. They're just super fun. And each of these packs have 24 sheets. So you get 6 sheets of each of these 4 designs. And they're great for origami, of course, because when you do your origami folds, a lot of patterns will have, we call it the white slip, the black part of the paper that shows through. But for these ones, you don't get a white slip, you get a really cute contrasting or complementary color. So we're so excited about those, and those just launched at NAMTA, so we're super excited to share them with everybody. Nori paste is awesome. It can be used by school kids in school, so it's great for the classroom. Teachers can even use it to adhere things to their bulletin board, so it's an amazing multi-purpose starch-based adhesive. Among the school children, it's as common as other glues that we'd use in the United States. Super safe, non-toxic, and great for kids.
Here is the Emott line. I don't know much about it, but they had some really cool fine liners that I want to check out. Next up is Legion Paper, and they're going to go through and explain all their different papers, which is super helpful to me, and I'm sure it's going to be super helpful to you because finding the right paper is half the battle when doing artwork. And I feel like knowing which paper to use is so important. And these are just some of their panels. They're going to talk about this a little bit about other artist panels. In just a second, he's going to come and show us all their papers.
Welcome to Legion Paper. We are a wholesale paper manufacturer and distributor based in New York. We're here at NAMTA, and we are featuring a few of our different papers here. These 2 or 3 are Yupo. They come in 3 different weights. There's a light, translucent, medium, and the purple is heavy. So that's just thicknesses. It is a 100% polypropylene sheet. It's completely non-porous, super smooth. So all your layering of different paints will lay on top, and then you let it dry. Then we get into our Stonehenge Aqua, which is a 100% cotton watercolor paper, and this one is the heavy version, so as you can see it's pretty thick, 600 GSM, and from there was an evolution of the Stonehenge Aqua brand, which turned into black. So this is the only 100% cotton black watercolor paper on the market. It comes in a thick and a 140 pound. And this is the cold press, which if you feel your finger across it, it'll be a little rough, versus the hot press. So hot press, there's heat applied to the paper during the manufacturing process. It makes it way smoother. So for something like this is great for white colored pencils, gouache, anything with detail. So the smoother it is, the more detail you're going to get. That's our water media options in these pads. Now we have Stonehenge, which is the flagship paper of Legion. It's been around since the 70s. Once again, 100% cotton archival. That is where we live. It has a slight vellum texture, which is a little hard to pick up here, but this is one of the choice papers for all colored pencil artists. Tons of layers, great blending. It's a real workhorse. You can erase without any pilling. Really, really strong paper. That comes in 8 different colors. So here, that was the white, which is the most popular, but then we get into natural, warm white. This is cream. We have a steel gray, so there's a gray option, and fawn, which is kind of a warm color as well. And lastly, in the Stonehenge regular range is the craft, which has a nice brown tone to it. Once again, 100% cotton, so it's archival, different than working on any other type of craft paper that, let's say, is made out of wood pulp. And lastly, let's not forget Lenox. This is similar to Stonehenge. It is used mostly for graphite and colored pencil work as well. It has a different white point. The texture is somewhat similar, in the same grammage of 250 gram, but it is available in rolls of 60-inch wide or 72-inch wide, so you can get really, really big. And that is our collection of mini pads, and these are also available in larger sizes, like 8x10, 9x12, 10x14, and 18x24, so pretty large.
Can you tell me about the wall behind us?
Yeah, so the wall, this is one of our newest products. We launched it last year. These are our Legion artist panels. You will see some of them have the paper facing us, and then the shiny area you see is a aluminum panel. So they are about 1/4 of an inch thick. It is an aluminum panel with then an inert composite in the middle, which is completely acid-free, and then 5 of our most popular papers adhere to there. It went under rigorous heat tests and soaking tests as well to make sure that they wouldn't delaminate. And they're offered in 6 different sizes, as small as 5x7, and we just introduced a 20x34.
Next up is Dixon Ticonderoga, and they make Strathmore and Canson papers. These are my go-tos whenever I'm doing anything here. I love their mixed media journal from Canson, but a lot of these papers you can use. And then this is their Arrtx series. I also have a bunch of theirs that I will have to review for you guys also. It's like on my list of things to do, but there's so many different papers, and depending on what you use, you can get so many different effects. And we're going to see a brand new paper explained by the artist coming up. They also have brushes. They have a Lyra, their marker series and pencil series. They have a lot of really great products at Dixon Ticonderoga. And then this is their Merry Blue watercolor set. So a lot of things I would love to try, especially the watercolors, because they look so pretty.
Welcome to Dixon Ticonderoga booth. New in the booth, we have our Canson Metance paper. We have the original Metance paper, and we've developed a new line called Metance Velvet. It's a really fibrous surface, so you're able to get some really nice fine consistency, but then with heavier applications, you can get a really smooth finish. The benefits of this paper are it has excellent layering capacity. So if you look at the two, this is the Canson Metance Velvet, this is the original Metance. So you can really see the difference in the vibrancy between the two. Some other benefits of the paper, as you can see here, the layering capacity. I was able to get 14 layers on this paper, and at that point you would be pushing around pigment, you'd be dealing with a lot of dust, but this paper really grips the pigment, and you can see how vibrant those final layers still are. It also makes for an excellent wet media paper. You can see there's no buckling of the surface. You can still feel the texture of the paper. This is an FW ink application, but it can also take acrylic and watercolor. The blendability of the paper is really good. So I've done some examples here. I've done blending with finger, blending with a cloth, blending with water, and blending with a dry brush. With the blendability, you can get really smooth transitions, seamless fades. It's really great for watercolor techniques. Using a solvent or water on this surface, typically with pastels, you would get a color shift, but you can see you don't get that with this paper. It also doesn't require a fixative, which is really attractive to artists because sometimes you can get a color shift when you apply a fixative. So it really grips the pigments. And then blending with a dry brush, you can see you can get a really soft, diffused effect. This paper also has really strong erasability. Red pigments are typically the harder to lift, and you can see even with a heavier stroke application, I'm able to lift a lot of that pigment off. And finally, the texture and tooth. So as I mentioned, you get a really fibrous surface, but it has a really fine consistency. So you're able to get really smooth applications with heavier applications, and then you can still pick up all those really nice fine textures of the paper with a lighter application. So these are two pieces that I've done over the course of the show. So it comes in 14 different colors. The sheets are available in 19 by 25, and then there's two pad sizes, the 9 by 12 and the 12 by 16.
Here is the velvet paper that was being demonstrated. It comes in, I think, about 17 different colors. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to try it. I don't know if they're going to have books, but I think it would be fun to have it as a book and try it out. It looks so beautiful. And this is some of the artwork. Next up is Pop Colors, and I really love, it's kind of like a coloring book, more like you get a coloring page that you can display, and it's really light, so that way you can't see when you put the pencil on top of it. That one looks a little bit darker, but I am really excited to try one of these. They have pencils too that have really fun names, and look at that. It just looks amazing and like it'd be a lot of fun. Sarah Hurley was there, and she had some really pretty coloring books that I am going to use this year. Next up is Orange Art, and they have a bunch of different brands. I loved these pencil sharpeners right here. You'll have to forgive me because I'm not exactly sure which company was which, since they did have 8 here. So if there's a certain product that you really loved, here, let me know and I will find it, like timestamp it and I'll find them. Look at that. He loved his notebooks. They were so cool. They have all these fun little tools that you can use. And then Staedtler, I found the name right there. They have these cute little books. I think those were Staedtler from over there also. And then they have these cute little pockets on the end. The paper is super high quality. I love these notebooks. They look like they'd be a lot of fun. And I think you can bend those a certain way, which is why, and then there's a ruler right there. So they're just a lot of fun for like the artist, like a sketchbook. And then next up we have some more sketchbooks from Flexbook. And then these ones, look at those pages. They're just fun, high quality pages that you can do all your sketching in. I love to do swatch charts in those. Journaling or whatever I feel like writing at the moment. I feel like having a great notebook is great, and those lay flat, which is super important because I like the spiral bound, but I also like it when it lays flat. I have been using more lay flat, which I hadn't before, but when it does lay flat like that, I feel like sometimes when I can't get into the edges, it makes me like anxious. And then they have these creative paper products, which is paper, but it's like folded up so that way you can open it up. So then it doesn't take up a whole bunch of space, but it's in the book. And you could use that like for decoration. You could use that for card making. And then they have these little coloring books with the lighter lines so it doesn't show up when you color on top of them. So just a lot of like really fun, innovative products, and they have beautiful packaging. You can really tell that they put a lot of care into their different paper products. And then we have Copic that is coming up next. They have Classic and Chow, and they had their artist there and he was demonstrating. I was like super awed. Again, I'm like, this inspires me to go home and just get out my markers and play with them and like just learn. This is their Chow box, and then they have these sets that are coming out, more manga, is that how you say it? These will be coming out later this year, but they're themed, and everything you see on the box you can make with the colors in the box, so if you want to replicate it, which is really cool. And then they have their multi-liners, I think are getting a facelift, but don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly what's happening, but something's coming. And here's all the different packaging for the markers. They are quite expensive. That case that we just saw was probably like $400 or $500. These are a little bit more affordable, like maybe $80. But the Chow are a little bit less pricey because there's less marker ink in them. So it just depends. But they have a range, I think it was like 380 it said it had it at the beginning. So if you rewind, you can see all the different color sizes that are available in the Chow and the sketch series. The next up we have our Copic. These are brand new on the market. There's 24 of them. I've actually done a review of the markers, and the artist right now is demonstrating the markers. Aren't they beautiful? I think they're really pretty colors. They were kind of a high price point, and they only have one nib. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I think they're really pretty for doing limited artwork, but if you want something more, there are some other options. I would love to have like a brush in this because I feel like then you could fill in the surfaces a little bit easier. So Copic, please make these in a brush, but these are all the different colors. I feel like the color palette is super pretty. Next up was a first time, I hadn't seen them before, was Ohuhu. Now Ohuhu has taken over the market with art supplies. I feel like a lot of people really enjoy their markers. These are the acrylic markers. They come in like, I think it was 3 different kinds, and I think this is the ones that we saw on the right. They're like their most high quality ones, and then these maybe are the second tier, and then we have a third tier. But they all have different functions, and this one maybe, I think they're all available in maybe 90 colors. I'll have to investigate a little bit more and see which ones are better than one another, but these are all the tips that you can get them in the different markers. You can see that some of them are like the big brush tips and some of them are a little smaller. Some of them you have to shake and some of them you don't. Like I think this one you shake, so that one's more like the Korean markers. And then also like the Posca marker that's coming out. Like I said, there are a ton of acrylic markers coming out, and I really regret, I think maybe I grabbed an egg, maybe I didn't, but it would have been really fun to decorate those, so I might have to find them just to decorate it, because that would be really fun for like Easter, is to decorate a bunch of eggs with the different acrylic markers coming out. But look at this beautiful artwork. And now alcohol markers is where Ohuhu shines, and they have a lot of different tips. I believe they have a Honolulu Plus coming out this year, and we'll see the tip for that one coming up. And that one's going to be a little bit higher quality of a brush tip than the others. So these are all the brushes and all the different. So Kala, I don't know if I said it right, but I'm going to show you. These are all the tips, and that you can see the different colors. So Kalala, and then Honolulu, Honolulu Plus. And I think I'm going to hold each one of them up and kind of show you. So this is a Kala, and then this one, they have the name on the other side. There it is. So Kalala B. I am totally saying this wrong, and you guys are going to correct me. I know it in the comments. And then this one is the Honolulu S, I think that was. And then this one is just the regular Ohuhu marker, probably the original. And you can see that some of them have chisels, some of them have brush. And then the Honolulu Plus with a brush and a chisel. So, and then they also have a fine tip. And these ones are the circular ones. I'm not sure what they are, but you can see that they're round and that they have that little ridge on them so that they won't roll away. And these are some of the different sets that you can get the Ohuhu in. And I actually purchased the brush fine tip, I believe, and I will be reviewing all 400 of those later this year. And this is some of the pretty artwork that you can do with all of the markers. Aren't they like amazing and pretty? I'm always amazed. And then they do have pencils. I didn't know that. I'm always amazed by all the artwork that you can do with these beautiful supplies. But it is fine art supplies, and they are beautiful. They are not light fast, but the acrylics would be. But oh my gosh, I really want to make that. And I think they have paper that's coming out, and we're going to see that in a minute. That the paper that they have will also is not like, it won't bleed through. And then this is some of their other random products that they have that I'm not as familiar with. So they have some washable markers, they have some kits, they have some gel pens, they have a lot of things. And then next up is Arrtx. They have acrylic markers. Also, I'm going to be reviewing those 90 acrylic markers right there. I did like a smaller box, and then they have some more acrylic markers. And then they have these ones are super cute. They have pencils, and then they also have some alcohol markers also. So look at all those pretty colors that they have. So if there's something you want me to review of theirs, let me know. Next up we have is Edding. Edding is also a brand. They have fine tip markers. They have, I think, acrylic paint markers also. And then look at all those pretty things you can do with acrylic markers, so you can write on a lot of surfaces. Conte of Paris is next. They have a lot of pencils and the graphite pencils, it looks like. And then Himi is next. They have some gouache, which I'm really excited to try, and some alcohol markers. So they gave me a kit with a bunch of their products in it, like a little bit of sampling of each, and I can't wait to try it.
I was at the Copic booth at Creativation, and I looked up and I saw Jennifer Stay from Coloring Bliss out of the corner of my eye, and I had to say hi. I was like, oh my gosh, you're here. Can you tell me a little bit about what your channel was about? Because maybe some of my followers haven't heard of you before.
Oh, I would love to have you come and check out my channel. We do a lot of art reviews of different supplies, and we teach how to use the art supplies and how to color on. We do a lot of adult coloring, and so we have a lot there. Like if you want to learn how to do alcohol markers or color pencils, we've got it all there. And we have coloring books you can check out too. So yeah, come on over to our channel. I'd love to have you.
So we're going to talk to her about what she found at Creativation, because it's her first time here, and her experience that she had here.
Well, other than finding Jenny, which was really exciting, and we've been having so much fun chatting and talking, but for me, NAMTA's been really cool to talk to the actual companies and get the down dirty what's coming up and the newest things. It's really exciting to be on the edge of everything rather than finding out last minute on things.
I agree. I feel like I come here and I get like my video ideas for the year. I'm like, okay, this is coming out in June. I can do it in May.
And also it's inspiring me to go home and pull out my art supplies, and because I think my favorite booth, if we're going to talk about favorite booths, was the Olo and Kareen booth, because the products were just displayed so beautifully. And then when I was done in the booth, I just wanted to go home and play with my markers and do more art with them. So that was really fun to be inspired while I'm here too.
What do you think of NAMTA, like this association and this show?
Well, I've only been a member for maybe a month now. We signed up right before the show, so I don't know much about it, but what I've enjoyed is the connections, meeting people, and knowing that the companies, I can connect with the companies now and learn more about their products. And so I'm excited to learn more about NAMTA and be part of it.
It was so great to meet you, and I'm so glad to run into you here, and I hope you're going to be back next year.
I think we will. I think it's in St. Louis next year. So I've never been there, so that sounds like a fun adventure to me. All
right. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Next up is Royal Talons. I really love their Pantone markers. I have a set that I have not reviewed yet, but I need to. It's their green and blue set, and I really need to make something fun with them, but I would love to have those whole set. It's just a little bit expensive, but they're really awesome, amazing markers. They have these journals, which are also, I guess, really popular, and I'm going to pick up one and see what I can do with it. And then they have these combination sets and some artwork they've done with, they have some paint. Also, this is gouache right here. And then this is their Amsterdam paint. I believe there are some new colors. So these are the smaller tubes. You can also get bigger tubes, but the smaller tubes are really nice if you just want to try them out and see. So here are all their new colors that are coming. It looks like they have 12 new colors coming. And then these are the little bit bigger tubes. So if you find a color that you really love, you can go find it there. And then they have also paper, and I think those are some of their new papers that they have this year, and they're making a big headquarters. And then this, I think, were their pastels that they were demonstrating. I think these were new, but look at the layering capabilities. I think there was gouache on the bottom, and then they put the pastels on top. And then these are some more of their notebooks that we saw before that are just so pretty. And then Vic Collins here, she is demonstrating. So this is where the craft meets the fine arts. And I was really impressed. So she has these stamps here that she is using like fine art with. So she drew it first and then she's stamping the background. And what's really amazing about this product right here is that you put the stamp on like that, like she's demonstrating. So there's no ink on it. You just kind of put it into place where you want it to be. And then you have the stamp. So instead of using like a stamp pad, which I don't love because I feel like stamp pads are really hard to get like ink on there. Sometimes they don't always get on there. She's using a brush and she's stamping it on with this brush. So she's using an Amsterdam paint. And then she's able to put it back in place and stamp it back on. And the good thing about this is, let's say you didn't get enough ink on there and you want it a little bit more. She's going back and she's able to kind of touch that up. So that takes, like, I don't love stencils and I love stamps. So I feel like this would be the tool for me because I could go in there. And now because it's watercolor too, she's able to come in here and put a little bit of watercolor in here and just kind of make it fun and spread that around and kind of really she's really using this craft and fine art all at the same time. And I love what she's doing with this. Like, so Sixxiz, which makes this product, and Royal Talons are now one company. So I can't wait to see what they come up with because I feel like there are a lot of tools in the craft industry that will be very useful to fine art artists. And this is another one too. So she has a stencil, which I said I didn't love, but you can also use stencils and you can use that brush that she had before and you can brush in like these trees. So she wasn't ready quite yet to put a tree in, but you could put it in lots of different places because on this tool, they have the spot to put it in a lot of different places. So I don't know how much this tool is, but I think it'd be super useful if you have stamps. And I do have stamps. And I don't have like a stamp pad for them. So I think this tool would be maybe my favorite. And I saw Eileen Hull actually demonstrate it. She had a really cute color wheel that she was demonstrating with this too. And so Vic Collins here is going to kind of demonstrate like if you were just stamping. So she's going to make a little bird with her business card right here. And she's going to put that on there. So she puts the stamp on first. Like I said before, you kind of stick it into place. And then she's going to put the color on it. So you can take this off. It's super easy. She's using a watercolor marker, which you'll see why in a minute, why it's super cool. But she's coloring in all those lines. And I did this all the time when I was younger with stamps. Like maybe I didn't love stamp pads at a young age. And so I always used markers because I used my Crayola markers on all of there. And you can go back. So she's going to go back again and get in all those little crevices. Like, let's say, okay, I need this to look perfect and it's not quite all the way there. And when you do it with like an ink pad and you don't have this tool, it can look kind of, you can get the ghosting a little bit. But now she comes back in. Look at how she does this. I'm like, how? Like, it's like a bird sitting on the ground with the watercolor. So this is from Sizzix Studio, and these are some of the products. I'm not sure what is new. I think this is Eileen's line right here. She's amazing. And then we have some of the other art things that you can make with these and craft things that you can make with these. And then this is Cassie. She's an amazing artist. Look at what she has done with this book in here. She is just super talented. She does a lot of mixed media. And now we're going to demonstrate their stamping tool. So this is actually a cutting tool / embossing tool. And look at this. You can cut these things out. I do use a Cricut. Like, I don't have one of these machines yet. And so I do use a Cricut for this kind of work. But if you have these, it would be really cool. And what is really cool about this machine is there's a lot of different uses. You can use this to emboss or you can use this to cut, like we die cut, but it tells you what to put on it and how to put it on, which I think is great because when you get something like that and the instructions are buried in the box, but it's nice that they're just on here so you know which tools to grab and where to put it, so that way when you're using it, you know exactly what you're doing. And she's going to demonstrate how to emboss. So I've done this before for cards, and this is really cool, like if you're doing some artwork too and you want to get like that 3D effect. So I've never done this before. I just put it straight through, but she actually spritzes it with paper and then she put it in this embossing machine and puts it in this little embosser. I do wish the embossers were like 8.5 by 11. So Sixxiz, please make a bigger one so I can have an 8.5 by 11. And she says she likes to put it at an angle because then it'll catch on this side, which I had never thought about before. You know, honestly, I've used one of these before because my friend had one and I did not put that much thought into it. But it's really cool to go to these shows and see the people demonstrating them and all these little things that you never think of and that you're like, oh, I wouldn't have done it like that. Like I would have only done it once. But she says, I come in and I do it like 2 or 3 times, so I really get that print. I'm like, oh, this is great. Because my embossing would probably not look as great, but look at how cool that is. And look at how nice that is. And so it is, because we did spritz it with water, it was a little bit jaggy, but it'll like even out later. And then she's using that same brush that Vic used, and she's putting some color on top of that. I think that's super cool. Next up is Notions. I didn't get all of it, but they are now carrying DCWV, Die Cuts with a View, and these are my favorite papers ever. If you've followed me for any amount of time, you see I use them in all my videos. I have that double-sided. That watercolor ombre looks really cool. I have the Glitter Brights. I have the Cardstock stock. So definitely check them out. Slice is next. I did not get a ton of time on here, but I filmed it because I wanted to check it out later. And all of these things look amazing. Next up is Deco Art, 40 Years of Color. They have some new colors from their Americana line. They have demonstrated some of the things that they have made with their new Americana line. They have some creative sets. We're just going to go through the booth and look around. These are some of the examples of things that they have made with their paints. I have used Deco Art a long time, and I like this. This is like their home line, so you can make things look like wood. I don't know if you could eat off of that. I don't know if they're safe like that, but this is like their stain that you could stain your house with. These are some more items that they've made. They've got a glass paint right here, kind of like, you know, I don't know what to call that, a bake set, but you don't actually bake with it. You just make things look really pretty. Those shoes look amazing. They made these giant blocks right here. There were also some easels, Richardson Oils, which is like a company. You know how companies have more than one company with them. So this is their other company. I think they sell easels. I did not ask. They have some drawing pads, it looks like. And then they have some more art supplies, like some watercolors. It would be fun to try them out. I've never tried them out, these supplies, but look at that beautiful sunflower and these Seattle prints. Oh my gosh, I love those. They are so pretty. And then we have some more paper, and then that cube again, so you can turn it and it can be different things. Some oil sticks right here. And then next up is Chroma. Chroma is a really fun paint line if you haven't heard of them before. All their products are AP certified or ACMI certified. There's another video coming out about that on the ACMI channel. I teamed up with them. That just basically means a lot of their paints are safe if you're using them for your kids. Also, Deco Arts are earlier that we saw. And they're just a lot of fun colors, a lot of fun textures. Look at all those beautiful paintings that they made. Mural paint that you, like if you just need to paint the back of a mural because you have a white canvas and you want to paint it. So many fun, pretty colors. I love all the different supplies that we see at these shows. They're just amazing. And then we have the metals, and then we also have this painting that she was working on during the show, and this is it completed, and she used some of their paints that glow in backlight, so as you can see as she goes through with her flashlight all of the pretty details that she'd hidden here with some of their neon paints.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Yench. Welcome to the Liquitex booth by Colart. Today I'm doing a live painting with the bio-based paints, the bio-based mediums, and the new metallic line, which is coming out in June. So I'm doing an abstract interpretation of the dahlia, which is Seattle's official flower. I'm using some masking techniques, which the mediums come in handy for. Very colorful because we want to highlight the product. So over here we have our sample booth, and we have the 8 metallic colors that are coming out in June. They're honestly, from an artist perspective, such a dream to paint with. They're very high viscosity, very creamy and buttery. The pigment load is very high, so you get these beautiful, intense colors. The metallics are very dimensional, and as you can see, it retains the shiny properties once dried. So this is our bio-based line, which is really cool about this paint is that it's made from 40 to 60% renewable resources. So you have things such as soy, algae, food waste products. It's just nice knowing that you're painting and it's doing good for the environment. Over here we have the 4 bio-based mediums, 2 in the gel and 2 in the fluid. That's kind of like an overview of what we're highlighting today.
Here are all the bottles for what Megan was showing us, not open like she had them, that she was demonstrating for us and that she was showing us.
Hi, my name is Michael King and welcome to the Deco Art Windsor and Newton booth here at NAMTA 2025. I'm one of the residential artists for Windsor and Newton, and I've been here painting for 3 days, various local scenes within Seattle, specifically a lot of alleys. I work primarily in oil paint and gouache, and I just find the medium very freeing, very fluid, great consistency, and the colors are always pop. So some of the new things that Windsor and Newton has is their colored pencils, but also their colored pencil sets, which come in these convenient boxes, which is very old school VHS type, and a lot of people have liking this. Some of the newer watercolor kits as well are fantastic, but not only do they just give you the colors, you got a QR code here, which the user can click into, and it'll help teach how to paint what's on the front, which is very unique to the product. They also come in various sizes for your full pans of watercolors that you can replace with either watercolor or gouache. The mixed media set is more of a manga oriented set, so it comes with some markers, a pen, and a pencil, so you can color in and also draw along the lines. They also have a few kits here with their artist oil colors. They come in a neutral colors tube set, so if you want to work more neutral, then moving into more of a standard tube set, give you a variety of colors. And then the primary colors are always nice because you work with the blue, red, and yellow, and you can mix all your secondary and tertiary colors. And then the historic set, I think this is somewhat new with the new colors coming out from ultramarine pink to a cinnabar to an ultramarine ash, which I find to be quite a fantastic color. And they also have these gift sets in a wooden box that always creates a very fantastic presentation, but it gives you everything you need except the canvas to work on your oil paintings, and they should last you quite a long time while you get into it. These paintings are some of the ones I brought from Vancouver in terms of the larger landscapes, but as I've been here, I photographed a lot of alleys in Seattle, and so I've done about 4 or 5 so far here. And that's Gumball Alley. It's a classic tourist spot within Seattle where all the walls are covered with gum and whatnot.
I actually bought these paintings for my husband while we were there as a gift, and he loved them. I was so excited to pick up some local art. He loves local artists and supporting small businesses. And here's some of the history of, this is Liquitex, and you can see these are some of their different brands that they carry also, and the Paris ones and the Edding were also part of this. Next up is Golden Artist Colors and Pan Pastel. We have new colors coming out this year. I think there's 52 new colors, and here is the swatch book, so you'll see all the swatches that they have available, and everything that has new by it is new. So there's a lot of fun colors that are coming out this year if you love those. I would love to review those also. There's a ton of them. I probably would pick like 10 colors because I have a feeling that those might be expensive. I'm not quite sure how much they run, but there's so many pretty colors. And where would I store them all, honestly, right? And then here are some of their other paints that they have. Their golden paints. Their Artist Oil Color, Williamsburg. So many different fun colors of paint. I love getting into like the paint and the watercolor market a little bit. And here are their acrylics. Next up is Jacquard.
Welcome to the Jacquard booth. I'm Alex Preston, and we do everything for fabric, whether it's dyes or paints, but we also do so much more. These are our new ice dyes. Ice dyes are dyes that split when you you put ice over top and let the dye, you sprinkle dye powder over the ice, and as the ice melts, it dyes the shirt. This is Procyon dye. It's a fiber reactive dye, but this is a black dye that splits into its components when you dye it with ice. And the same thing here. This is really a jade color, but it splits into its components, and you see the yellow and the blue. We do this is our Jacquard Professional Screen Ink. This is a really great water-based ink that's high solids. It won't make it won't make paper bend or won't curl while you're printing, and it's super opaque, so it'll cover even black. It also self-cures, so there's no need for a heat set like most water-based inks. These are our blendable stamp pad inks. These are archival and pigmented. These are our stamp pad inks that are dye-based. So instead of being archival and pigmented, these are watercolor. You can re-wet them, and they're super bright dye-based inks. So their intensity is their strength, and the fact that you can do watercolor with them. We have the best alcohol inks. We consider them an artist grade because they are ethanol based and not isopropyl alcohol. That means that you can dissolve more dye in them, and that's why our inks are the most intense. Of course, the white is the most important color because it's used in resin art, and it makes all types of colors sink in the resin. So people use our white, as our Blanco Blanco, as a sinking white. Of course, our metallic colors, the copper, brass, gold, etc., those are real metal pigments that you cannot put in water-based media, but because these are alcohol, these look like real metal because they're actually real metal. Our new Lumiere colors are really awesome, especially this blue shift green. This color looks so awesome just by itself, but if you paint it on black, it will actually look green instead of blue. And the same thing with these colors. The Jupiter is my favorite because it's really a white gold. It's a gold and a silver, and if you paint it on black, it looks more gold, and if you paint it on white, it looks more silver. We're really well known for our photographic chemicals. SolarFast is our photography chemicals that we use especially on fabric. And then we also have cyanotype. Cyanotype, I say that cyanotype is made for art because it is absolutely archival and will not fade in UV light. And I say that SolarFast is really for fashion because it is completely wash fast on fabric no matter how many times you wash it. This one comes in 14 different colors. Of course, cyanotype is only one color, but it is an archival pigment at the end, so it lasts forever. So this is a cyanotype print, and you can see it really has a great tonal range. The SolarFast has a good tonal range, but it's not quite as good as the cyanotype. The brown is a special color in the SolarFast because it is archival. This one will last forever in the sun. And then you can also layer this dye over and over. It's really a cool process. This one just has string laid over it, and this is ribbon. There's just endless cool patterns that you can use and photographs that you can keep forever. This is JacquardCyanotype.com, and you can open or even take a photo from the website itself, and you can do this on your phone, and then you can save it or you can print it, but also it's just one button and now you have a black and white negative. I like to lower the brightness just a little bit so that I can get a darker negative. That'll give me a good reproduction. And then all we have to do is print. And I want to do a landscape orientation. I want to make sure I only print one. Yeah. And then everything else is good. Let's print it. This is the cyanotype process. What we're doing in the booth is we're printing negatives of our customers, and they are standing in front of a backdrop of Seattle. This is photosensitive paper that I've coated with the cyanotype chemical. We use a piece of glass and then we put it under a UV light. It only takes 3 minutes under the UV light. Under the sun, we would normally do about 15 minutes. And then when you're finished, you simply rinse with water. So you can get a really cool photograph very quickly. So we're showing soup to nuts. It took about 10 minutes to do the whole thing. So 3 minutes for the exposure, a few minutes to rinse, and 2 minutes to print the negative. These are the alcohol inks I told you about earlier. These are the sets that they come in. The Procyon dye, we're really well known for the Procyon dye. It's the tie-dyed dye. This is a nice set just because it has a color mixing guide that even has complex colors in it. Acid dyes are super cool because these are sort of the Procyons, but for silk, wool, and nylon, actually. So the great thing about the acid dyes is they actually have fluorescent colors. So these dyes are so incredibly bright and are black light reactive. So if you dye something with this and wear it into a black light, you're going to glow really brightly. Super cool. And we are the only company in the world that has a black light blue, a blue that glows under black light. And then people think that the indigo tie-dye kit is just a blue tie-dye kit, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Indigo is the oldest dye known to man. It's 8,000 years old, And when you dip fabric in it, it comes out bright green. When it hits the air, it starts turning blue immediately. And this oxidation occurs, and it's a magical experience, a great thing to do with some friends or a party. And the best part is you just add these 3 components to a bucket of water, and you mix them together, and it's ready to go in about half an hour. When you do tie-dye with this, it's ready in about 15 minutes instead of taking a whole day. Indigo dye, people have been killed over this dye, wars have been fought, and lands have been conquered. Now for about $15 you can dye 15 shirts, and it's a completely magical experience.
Next up is Gelli Arts, and I am really excited. I got a small one to try of these, and look at all the cute things you can make. I have never done this kind of printing, but I'm really excited. So some of those paints that we saw earlier and putting it with this product, I want to have so much fun experimenting with these. Doesn't it look like so fun? Next up is some eco-friendly paint palettes. And then next is Boya crayons. They have fun shaped crayons that you can use. Look at all these different shapes and colors. Next up is Trevini, and these are beads. And if you have followed me, you know that I love colors. And I also have found that I love creating like bracelets for Taylor Swift concerts and for other concerts that I've been to. And so these are just so awesome and fun. Like I really have gone into like the glass beads because I felt like I made some for TTPD for Taylor Swift's new album, and I think I'm going to go through all her other albums and make more. But I really love, like, I was using the plastic beads at first, and I was like, oh, these are great, like for, fun. But if you really want to make those high quality ones, you're going to start venturing out and purchasing the beads that are a little bit more pricey, but they will last forever. So if you give someone a bracelet, it's going to be more of like, oh, this is just a fun thing to do, but this might be something they keep forever. Like, so I gave away, there's another Taylor Swift fan and she's in the video. You'll have to guess which one she is, but I gave her the 1989 bracelet that I made, and she's like, oh my gosh, these like beads are nice or something, or these look like glass beads. And I'm like, oh, that's because they are. And I told her like they were like the nicer beads and everything. So it's fun to like give something away. And you can see I'm actually wearing some bracelets. I have some lava beads on that I made, but it's fun to make them. Next up, I feel like I have to get some really nice like gold beads, because I feel like the gold beads I got, they looked really nice at first, but then they're kind of like starting to fade a little bit. But I can imagine that gold beads would probably be a little bit more expensive. And I'm just really like trying to show you guys all the different beads. And I feel like if I hold them up like this, that you guys can really see them like with my hand in the background to give it that contrast. Like I could have just stood there for a long time, and I could have taken home like all of these beads and like put them in my I have like little containers for beads that I could put them in. Like, these purple ones are amazing. I'm like, that would be a really cute Speak Now bracelet. This one would be a lover. This one could be like a reputation. And then they also sell bracelets also. So I don't think you can buy them on their website. And they also are available in like local art and craft like stores. Are those bracelets just amazing and pretty? It really inspires me to start creating with more of my beads. And next up is John Bead. So John Bead has these really cool trays, and I got one last year at the trade show. It's like made out of plastic. It's not like that nice wooden one, but I have used it so much like to make bracelets. Like if you're at an airport, if you're at like a restaurant, which I have been, all those places, and you pull that out, it's really nice to have the beads contained. And they have really nice glass beads too. They're just so pretty. And I feel like I bought some of their beads when I was at Michael's, where they carry them. So that's where I got a lot of the beads. So if you really want to go out and get some nice beads, like the John beads, you can go to Michael's. They carry them in there, and they have wire. They have all these cute little kits too. I will have to check out and see if they have a website, but aren't these beautiful? Like those, that would be such a pretty bracelet. Like I am loving bracelets, and maybe one day, I have a friend who's really into jewelry making, and I actually saw her when I was there in Seattle. And I didn't tell her that I'd started to make bracelets, but we did bracelet making or jewelry making, and she has like all the things. Like you can make earrings with these, which I have never done, but I love earrings, so I could feel myself like feeling super inspired to like make earrings and go down like that rabbit hole of just like, I have this bracelet and I'm gonna make a matching necklace and I'm gonna make like earrings to match it. And they do have like the lower level line, which I think are great too. Like everything is good, like everything has its place. Like if you don't want to spend a ton of money, you can spend it on those and you still get really high quality, like really nice looking products. And you can even make like Christmas bracelets like this, or necklaces, whatever you want to make. But I mean, I have really loved making things. And then these are like, you can put beads on clothing, which I have never done before, but it looks very interesting and also very time consuming. I did accidentally buy some because I thought they were beads, but I bought some like for wedding, like white pearl ones, which I don't know why. And they also have feathers, some wire, and then these little jars of glass beads, which are really great if you're trying to contain all those beads, and a spin the bead, which is a lot of fun also. Look at all the pretty colors. They're just so much fun.
Hi everyone, my name's Ashley and I'm with Artistry, and we make sublimation arts and craft supplies. So if you know anything about sublimation, you might think you need a fancy printer. Well, not with our products. We've taken that technology and that professional level form of personalization, and we put it in a line of arts and craft supplies of markers, ink pads, and paint. And so you just color and design on plain paper, and then with heat and pressure we transfer it to objects, and it's lifetime permanent. So right now, today, we're making keychains with our concentrated sublimation ink, and a little bit of white paint. So all you have to do is, we started with white paint. This is nothing special about this paint, it's just white acrylic paint. And then we added our concentrated inks to make different shades of blues and greens.
Okay, I feel that.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a simple ombre design with the paint. And this is just mixed media paper. There's nothing special about this paper. It's, smart, just like when you're doing the, regular crafting that you guys are used to. If you have something a little heavier, you want to use like mixed media paper or cardstock. And then we're gonna do some blues. And you can add water to it. All of our products are water-based, so you can get extra creative with that. You can blend, add a little water if you want to. And then we'll go light at the top. So because I know we're doing a keychain, I have a general idea of how big that I need it to be, but you could put this design on anything that's the same size. So we're just gonna hit this with the heat gun real quick, just so we can get it to dry. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, let's add a design, okay? So this is a regular stamp. Now stamps are mirrored, so then that way on the paper, like the birthday card, it reads correctly. But with sublimation, we want our words on the paper to be mirrored, so that's why when we transfer them in the correct way. So because this is a traditional stamp, I'm just gonna kind of avoid the Seattle part of it. And if I get a little bit of it, it's okay. We'll just line up the keychain just so then that way we get the part that we want. And so this is our black sublimation ink in ink pad form, so you can use all your stamps to create like a magic coloring book like this, and you can color it in with the markers, or you can layer on top like this with a background. And our stamp pads also come in like 8 other colors, so the blending brushes and stencils, you can use that with our products as well. So we're just gonna let this dry for just a second. I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun, make it go a little faster. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we are going to, this is a sublimation keychain. It has a poly coating on it by the manufacturer, marketed and designed for sublimation. And that's why we take it right out of the box. We don't have to add anything to it. We don't have to seal it. Like, it is designed for this purpose. So these are double-sided, so it doesn't matter which side you put. And we could do it at an angle a little bit because You know, we want to get the Space Needle, or you can go like this. It doesn't matter. We can go like this. And this is heat tape. So this is heat resistant tape that won't melt, because what's going to happen is the paint on the paper is a solid, and then with heat and pressure it's going to turn into gaseous color. So this heat tape is going to make sure that that gaseous color goes right back where we want it on the keychain. And then we're going to make something called the sublimation sandwich. So this is siliconized paper. It's not parchment paper. It's what professionals use. It's designed for high heat, because all this paint has nowhere to go, right? So we want to keep our pad nice and light blue here on our heat press. So we're going to put it just like this. And the way I like to explain this part is the blank is the burger, the cheese is the slice of design, and the cheese goes on top of your hamburger. So we're just going to put it just like this, and then we're going to place it in the heat press for 60 seconds. You certainly could also use a handheld press. As long as it's something that comes up to 400 degrees, then you can use the recommended settings for the material. But like, let's say you have an Easy Press 1 that like only goes to 360, you would want to add like another 30 seconds. Think of it like a casserole, lower temp, longer time. And once we're done in 40 seconds, it will be hot, right? So you definitely want to be careful, just like how you take something out of the oven. You know, this is our project mat. So this is going to be a great cool down area. You know, like let's say you had a wooden table with some varnish, you wouldn't want to put this on it because it could, you know, it's 400 degrees. We actually designed these to be used with the handheld mats the handheld heat presses, because those are designed for like heat transfer vinyl, 315 degrees, 15 seconds. We're doing 400 degrees, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, sometimes even 120 seconds. So those ones, you know, you might see a scorch mark or something like that, but these are black. They hide everything. You only need one. And you know, I'm not a crafter by nature, but I hear that these are great for any high heat project that you guys are doing, like shrinky dinks or anything like that. These are great. So we're going to do something called the peak test, okay? And you always want to do a peak test because, like, what if you put the cheese on the bottom of the burger, right? The heat tape keeps everything in place, so you could just flip it over and repress. So we're just going to take a little peek, make sure we love it, and of course we do. And it's very hot, so we're just going to let it cool. A blank that is metal will take much longer to cool down than a blank that's fabric. These are what they call fiber reinforced plastic, so it's going to be somewhere in between.
Here are some of the paints and the markers that Ashley was talking about as she just demonstrated that really, really cute keychain. Like, I thought that was amazing and cute and so much fun. I love that they come to the shows and they're so much fun. Next up is Craft Express, and Craft Express it's similar to Artistry, where you can make things sublimation, but this is temperature controlled, and this is a printer. We're going to see seagrass in a minute. So you put in whatever you have, and the great thing about this printer that we saw demonstrated a little bit earlier is you can have different temperatures, different times. So I feel like they might have something where they would tell you, like, this is how long to bake this, or this is how long to bake this. And then when you take it off, you can see that, so this one was just a name, but you could do lots of different items there. And then they also sell products that you can put their sublimation on. I'm not sure what all of these different machines are, so I would really recommend, if you're interested in anything that you see here, that you check out their website, see what they have available. But they have special, like, mugs and you name it, like pouches, anything that you could want to put anything on. And sublimation is really good because it doesn't come off. Like, vinyl will come off, as I have learned, but this doesn't. I think you might be able to do vinyl with the machine, and this is like heat tape that we saw before. And then Sakura, so this was the printer that we barely just saw. So that printer will print all of these things, and then you can put them onto so many different surfaces. It looks like some of these are shiny, like life is what you make it. So they printed that out, and then they use some kind of heat. I'm not sure if they used that tool that we saw earlier, but here they were making the Seattle items here, and we're going to see a t-shirt in a minute, the Sawgrass in Seattle. So that's super pretty. Next up is Emily Moore Designs, and we saw this a little bit earlier with the die cutting from Sixxiz. Is you put these in a die cut, and then you can make all of these really, really pretty designs. And aren't those amazing? Next up is Activa. So Activa is a lot of clay products, and I have a let's see, it's a Mr. Potato Head that I made out of clay, but there are so many fun and cool activities that you can do with clay. Look at Starry Night again. So the last one we're going to see is Jess Monet. And so this is an eco-friendly resin, because the thing that I worry about is resin is all those toxic chemicals coming out, but they said theirs is like eco-friendly and is like not, it doesn't have as many VOCs. And so Jenny and Savannah are demonstrating with us. They're NAMTA employees. They're amazing. And these are some of the products that you can make with gems tonight. And then next up is Coal Pop. And so Coal Pop is really awesome if you are like making shirts or anything. Like if you want your brand on there, you can print it off. So this prints it off and then it will put it on the paper. And then also, if you just want to make random designs on things, like if you have a notebook and you want to put a design on there, you can print it off. So he's going to print off a ladybug and you can see how it goes and you can have like a pattern. You can't do really large prints, which I think they should expand it to like a large printer so you could do something like on a t-shirt, but it's not there yet. And then they had these stamp sets with stamp pads, and then also these were really cool. It's like temporary tattoos, but instead of like putting it on with water, you just stamp it on. And I told them they really need to make a 13 for the Taylor Swift concert, because I had a hard time doing that. Can you imagine putting like a 13 on your hand, then all you have to do is color it in? So I colored this one in. But you could totally get like glitter or anything and it could be totally concert ready, and it would take like 5 minutes. I was like in the bathroom and mine looked horrible, and I really wished I had something like a stamp, like a temporary tattoo. That would be so awesome, so I wouldn't have to draw it on. But there are so many different stamps that they have, and then you can put it on yourself and put it in. So next up, we're going to look at some of the events that they had while we were there. This was the Product Palooza, and all these companies were there. And it was really busy and it was a lot of fun. It was almost a little too busy for me because I couldn't see exactly what was happening on the tables. I tried my hardest to film what I could, but there were so many people there and like I didn't really want to get in people's way. But so this one is, you can just see these are fun. I think that was Trinity Stamps. This is Deco Art. They had the Seattle Space Needle. These were their new Americana acrylic colors. This one is from Spellbinder, where you match. So you printed out you cut out some of the colors and you put it on the side, so you can have like a color palette from the picture that you chose, which I thought was really cool. And then we have some markers here and some paints from a company. This was really cool. I have to figure out where this came from because I really like this. You put water in it and you could clean off your paintbrush. And then this was the welcome reception, which was a lot of fun. We all got to meet together. We heard from the president of NAMTA, who is also, he runs Marvy Uchida. We had a motivational speaker that we had to figure out what this string was and come up with different uses for it. And Cherry on Top Crafts was there, and so much fun to hang out with. The creative professionals actually all did a fish. They made these really, really pretty fish. I was super inspired, and they donated them to Mama's Hands. Check out Mama's Hands. I'll leave a link below for Mama's Hands. Aren't these amazing? They're just super cute and pretty. I was so impressed by all the fish that were there. Next up was a Splashes of Hope project. So these are just some of the things that were happening behind the scenes at Creativation, like around the show floor. So Splashes of Hope was, they were making these murals for people in hospitals. And so I think you paid to donate, and then you got to go over there and paint. And then they were going to put them up at the houses afterwards. And they were just super pretty, inspiring for all these kids. They kind of chose what they wanted to have at the house. And then next up is the president's reception. This was a lot of fun. It was at the Mopop. They had music videos going the whole time. There was good food there. And then we also just had a lot of fun just sitting around, talking to each other, getting to know each other. It was so fun to visit Seattle. I used to live there. The food is amazing. I loved seeing all the sights. The flowers were out. It was a lot of fun to hang out with friends. Until next time, Seattle, I'll miss you, and see you next year for Creativation in St. Louis.